Yeah, but I didn't just mention the animation. I thought the fight was just well written as well because it dealt with an arc with Ash's Lycanroc.
Nah.
Not to say it was the best, written fight in the series, no. But I still thought it was like well written.
Nah.
If it's just for different folks, alright. That seems to be about all the... Yeah, it seems to be it, actually. I don't think there are any other ones that I can find.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so that's about it. That's our last, that is our very last, Gen 7 OU session. / Uber in this case, because we used some of the fanfic teams.
God damn it. I guess there was a very specific reason why I didn't come back to this game. Because I know there were like multiple moments where I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely come back to this game. And then like, it's not that I even tried playing it, it's just that like, I guess there was something that was holding me back. This is literally the first time I played this game since our last recording session. That was like almost a year. That was literally a year ago.
The last time I played this was like a month ago, and I was just like, I don't know.
Which one did you get or are getting? Neither.
It's just like, that's really starting
Wow! More people are not getting Sword and Shield?
I mean, this is a competitive scene, so of course a lot of people are not going to get in the competitive scene because they're fucking over competitive players.
No, I mean like, which one are, well no, there's like a Q&A that are like saying like,
yeah,
which game are you getting, Sword or Shield or neither? And a lot of people are picking neither.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. It's like, it's bouncing up and down, but like neither is still like not by far, but like by a big margin the most voted.
Yeah.
But I can see why, because it's like, this is Showdown. You're obviously going to have a lot of competitive players, and they're screwing over competitive players by not including all the Pokemon from the other regions. Ash, Greninja, gone. The Tapu's gone. Well, the Tapu's, I think I saw them in the leak alongside Bulbasaur and Squirtle, but that's beside the point. Like, a lot of mainstay, Uber, not just Uber, OU and even UU Pokemon aren't coming back. Greninja's not going to come back. I don't think the Weather Trio is coming back. Maybe they might. I think I saw them in the leak. I don't know.
I don't get it. Wait, there's a leak?
There is another leak that showed in the game files certain Pokemon that were not in the Pokedex. There were almost all of them were legendaries except 2, Squirtle and Bulbasaur.
But I don't get it. They specifically said they weren't going to be adding in more Pokemon.
Well, I guess they're only adding the ones that they feel like adding.
Like, I don't get it. See, this is my This is my problem with Game Freak. I mean, I have multiple problems with Game Freak. But they say some shit, and then they retract their statements, but they're not, like, fully embracing the fact that they messed up terribly. Like...
No, of course, they're avoiding almost all the press when it comes to it.
Yeah, I see that, but it's like, see, that's how you know that they really messed up. They should have literally delayed this game to, like, the 8th degree to just get this one right.
They were not going to delay it, Marker, because the anime was ending, and they needed to, like, get it out. But personally, I feel like that, yes, it should have been delayed, in the sense that Gens need to stop lasting only 3 years. Gen 4 lasted for about 4 years.
But, like, the thing is, like, I don't know, I just hate how formulaic Pokemon is. Like, it's the same thing every stinking year. Like, they don't do anything different. And at times they do something different, it's like they just kind of ignore the differences, or it's just so sporadically different. It's just, how does it even make sense to begin?
In a good way, but then they never bring it back.
Like, Mega Evolutions, I think, were really silly in Gen 6, but, like, it did become a mainstay at least. But then it's like, it became even that became expendable to Game Freak, and then it's like,
yeah, because they forgot about it and replaced it with Z moves, which I really like Z moves.
I don't.
But like now we're doing another game, basically Z moves. I do because it gives a lot of utility to other moves, not just attacking moves. Like it also does other stuff, like Z Hypnosis raises your speed, or Z Toxic raises your defense by 1 stage. Things like that, like. I like that when it comes to Z moves, but my big issue has been like the constant needing to add a new gimmick to each region.
Yeah.
Like, I was fine with Megas and I was fine with Z moves. Well, I was happy with Megas, really happy with Megas, and I was fine with Z moves, and then they rubbed up on me, and I was like, okay, I like that. And now we're getting Gigantamaxing, which is just the two combined. And it feels like you would think that I would like that, but no, it just feels uncreative.
It definitely feels the laziest.
Gimmick.
It's just, I don't know.
And I know this isn't going to be for balancing because, hello, like you're balancing by getting rid of like half the decks, less than half the decks.
Yeah.
Also by like what, introducing Dynamaxing, which everyone can do, which sure that's fine, you can make an argument for that, but then they introduced Gigantamaxing, which is literally just Mega Evolution. i.e. it increases your stats and abilities. So it's like, now what's the point of Dynamaxing? Is it just, like you said it was for balancing all the Pokemon, but now you're saying that now only certain Pokemon can Dynamax. So obviously those are going to be better. I mean, better loosely. Like, you're obviously going to have some, like, the Mega Meowth. Sorry. The Mega Meowth probably isn't going to be, like, top tier.
Actually, here's another thing, and this kind of also, this is another thing that I might be going a little bit on Mega Evolution rants, but I hated it even back then, like when Mega Evolution were a thing, that they kept redesigning old Pokemon. Like, why? I can admit that maybe some of them look fine, like especially comparing them to the other one, but most of the time I just find it worse than the ones before.
I thought it was fine because for one, it's optional. And two, it thought it breathed new life. And there weren't any, well, there are some that I thought were pretty bad, like Mega Glalie. But for the most part, a lot of them were really good, like Mega Lopunny, both Mega Charizard forms, Mega Venusaur, Mega Blastoise, Mega Houndoom.
Wait, we're talking about design or just like
design?
Oh no, then I disagree with like a good portion of them.
No, that's fine. Different strokes for different folks. But I'm just talking about like for me personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, like, I don't know. Like, I like the Gigantamax designs, some of them.
I don't.
He's a little weird.
Like, there's some, like, the only ones I really liked were Butterfrees and, well, Charizard is kind of a given.
I like all of them except, Alchemy's, because it's a cake. And it's not even, like, Pokemon-y looking, like Slurpuff. It's just literally a cake, and then Alchemy's just on the top.
It just really comes down to, I think you're the easiest one to please, and I'm like the most difficult one to please. It's just coming down to this point.
You try and see the bright side of things.
I just see it as it is. Like, I already know this is like, I'm already acknowledging that this is basically like, like how people tend to write stupid fan fictions, and it's like, okay, it's just whatever because it's a fan fiction. We don't really have to take too much into account. This is like if you decide to make something out of that fan fiction, and then it's just a weird ass direction because Gen 6 and 7 and 8 feels so different compared to Gens 1 to 5. It's practically not. It's literally not even in the same universe anymore.
I just see it as more so they're just trying to make things easy. And like stupidly easy, and then the reason that they gave, because like there's an interview when X and Y were released. It was after they were released, and they were I forgot who, but someone on Game Break was asked. I'm not sure if it was the game's director or someone, or if it was I forget his name, the creator of Pokemon. I always forget his name. Whatever, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He asked him. Why was it that they made Gen 6 games noticeably easier in comparison to like Gen 5 and Gen 4 and all the other games? And they said that, kids nowadays are, they're only focused on like their mobile devices and stuff. So, we were just trying to make something that you can just play quickly.
That reminds me of the stupid reason why they removed split screen in Halo 5 Guardians. Oh, because people are so busy, have their busy lives, and they can barely meet up with their friends anymore. And I'm like,
so what? Like
fuck?
Split. Make something because you're like, people are gonna focus on it. That's just such a defeatist mindset.
Yeah, it's retarded. That was easily one of the things I hated about Halo 5 Guardians the most, which is sad because the multiplayer is so fun, but then it's like everything else is terrible.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, like, I personally just prefer, maybe this is just me, and you can easily point out the fact that I'm not speaking like if I was a fucking Gen 1er, but I much prefer the most simplistic and more story-focused Pokemon games, which is ironic because they're trying to be a little bit more story-focused with the newer games, but I agree with the whole gimmick that they have to introduce in each generation. It's just
I can
really
see with
bad.
Gen 7, but I can't say that with Gen 6.
I can say that with Gen 6. I remember when I saw the Mega Evolutions, I really thought, like, actually, you were there. Don't you remember I hated it even back then?
Yeah, you hated it. Yeah.
Like, that was like my first red flag. I was able to tolerate it for the longest time because I can admit there's a lot you can do with Megas. Like,
yeah,
I'd say there's more so you could do with Megas than Z-moves. I think Z-moves are just kind of weird. Like, I don't know. They just don't fit in. They just can't really fit in without having some sort of gimmick. That's something that has to have been established since the beginning. It's not something that should be coming in this late in the franchise.
Yeah, I think that.
Like, it just doesn't make. Like, I've read the biography, and it seems to only happen in whatever the fuck the region is, Alola region, and it makes sense why it's there, but it doesn't make sense why it exists, why it couldn't exist elsewhere. Like, it just seems like a weird like position where you have to be at a specific location and you still need a crystal. Like, it just doesn't make sense. The same thing applies to the Mega Evolutions, but it's like,
yeah, but in the Mega Evolutions, they kind of established that it was like, at first it was like just Kalos, but then they were like, oh, but Hoenn has this, so you can.
Hoenn and Kanto have it too.
Because the other games also have just these Pokemon around. Like, you can kind of infer that because you saw Cynthia with it later on in Gen 7, or even in the manga they did have Blue using Mega Charizard Y.
I might actually get into the manga, because like I've been hearing more stuff that the manga is actually one of the better written Pokemon stories, and I actually would prefer. Like, the thing is, I've just been so disappointed with both the anime and the games, and it's just, I just want to stay away from them.
You would love the story.
I actually want to give that a shot, because like I kind of want to see something good about the franchise, and I just haven't been seeing that since X and Y's release. Like, it's like I didn't like X and Y. I did not like Oras. I thought Sun and Moon was fine, but I thought it was very.
I thought Lily was annoying.
Huh?
I thought Lily was kind of annoying.
Yeah. And I thought Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was so disappointing in so many areas because it could have been something different.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I was actually super excited for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon the moment the Rainbow Rocket trailer appeared. And I swear to God, everybody and their mothers thought it was a sequel, not a remake.
Yeah, because they advertised it as a sequel. They were like, oh, look at this new stuff we're adding that looks totally different. We're going to have different looking protagonists. Which we hadn't done that, at least for like quote-unquote sequel game in the same generation since Black and White 2.
Yeah, and not only that, but like even the post-game content has been such a dim quality like as the newer games progress, because Oras had nothing, X and Y had nothing, so Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon literally had the Rainbow Rocket, and Sun and Moon had nothing. Like,
yeah, that's the only good recent post-game. Was like Rainbow Rocket and like the Battle Tree.
Yeah, but even then, like, it still has the same issues with Sun and Moon.
It's not like comparable to like Emerald's post game or Platinum's post game.
Emerald, Platinum, hell, the entirety of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Black 2 and White 2. I'll even say Black and White was great for its story. Like, I think Black and White in terms of the game had the best story.
Yeah, I agree.
But, you know, it's just like there's just really no passion in these new games. Like, there's just nothing with them. The anime is just the same, and they're just adding things from the games just for the sake of it. Yet they're not thinking of the context of it. Like, the anime had some. Like, I can't really speak too much about the Sun and Moon anime because I just didn't follow it up. But I know that I did see enough for me to be a little bit disappointed with the Alola League. I just didn't. Yeah. I just don't like many areas about it compared to the other ones.
It's more like anime stuff into the games.
Yeah. It's just dumb. But like, you know, there's really like nothing compared to like, you know, Gen 4 stuff. Like, Gen 4 was like the best generation. Like, I'm going to say this, from an objective standpoint, it's the best one because it's the one that introduced the most. It's the game changer of the gameplay. It's the most balanced competitive game. and it introduced a variety of fan favorites for many things to come. If people are just focusing on how Diamond and Pearl is too slow, then they clearly never saw what made Gen 4 so great. Because when Gen 4 was new, everybody was addicted to the Wi-Fi. That was such a new feature about it, and that carried over to the next game. And Gen 4 was the pioneer of competitive battling. So it's like, objectifyingly, it was the most impactful.
Yeah, I agree. But I feel like we're speaking from a biased perspective when it comes to that because, well, at least I am because I started with Gen 4.
No, I started since the beginning, and I've played almost every Pokemon game since, and I can easily tell you that like no other Pokemon game has ever had an impact as Gen 4, or at least I guess comparison would be Gens 1 and 2, but Gen 4 had the most impact, and you can easily see with how everybody's talking about these games, like, and especially how the gameplays carry over. Like, I know a lot of people like X and Y, but the Megas don't really impact, like, they impact the meta, but they haven't really left a landmark to the point where it's, like, really a big game changer comparing to Gen 4's physical special split.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just moments like that where you just realize, and also the Legendary Hunter, the Shiny Hunts, like, a lot of it began in Gen 4. Gen 4 came out in the same year the internet was becoming a thing, especially for gaming.
Yeah, like obviously, yeah, like Gen 6 and Gen 7 obviously influenced the competitive meta and even Gen 5. But like Gen 4 brought like
Gen 4 pioneered it. It was basically the melee of it all.
I mean, well, I would kind of say that Gen 3.
No, well, Gen 3 did not pioneer the competitive.
The gameplay change, like the really, and not well.
The thing is, Gen 3, like, here's the thing. There was one thing that Gen 4 had that really pioneered.
3 introduced abilities. Gen 4 introduced a physical special split. Gen 5 introduced hidden abilities, and then from then on, it's just been gimmicks.
I mean, I'd kind of argue that hidden abilities have been gimmicks because a lot of the Pokemon got banned because of hidden abilities.
I strongly disagree with some of them, but yeah.
Okay, like, a lot of Pokemon got banned because of the hidden abilities alone, so it's like...
but that's not necessarily, like, you can't say it's a gimmick because someone got banned from it. No, you cannot, Marker, no.
I mean, if it's one thing that makes a big game changer, kind of.
Okay, yeah, but so was the physical special split.
No.
Yes, it was.
If it made everything good, it made everything in the most in a positive way. The gimmicks just affect one Pokemon specifically. And like Blaziken is nowhere near as good as Speed Boost Blaziken.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily make it a gimmick. Like, yeah, I can see some abilities being really gimmicky, like Rain Dish.
Speed Boost.
Speed Boost is a little gimmicky, but I wouldn't say it's like the most gimmicky.
I mean, it got Blaziken banned, so I mean...
It's not like Swift Swim or any other weather-based abilities.
Okay, if you're gonna say Swift Swim is gimmicky, then Speed Boost Blaziken is definitely gimmicky.
No, because Swift Swim requires specificities. It requires someone to set up rain, and it requires to stay that way.
Blaziken needs Protect.
No, it really doesn't. To get the Speed Boost, no.
It needs it for it to work.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it gets killed. It'll get killed the first hit, especially in Uber's.
It's still active. It's still active. Like, it'll still activate whether or not you have Protect. Swift Swim cannot activate unless you have Rain. That we were talking about as being gimmicky. Swift Swim, what else? Like, anything that requires, like, too much of a setup to be, for it to actually work, that's a gimmick. Anything that's like, oh, we're doing this only one time, and only for, like, specific Pokemon, like, that is a gimmick. Or for only this generation, because hidden abilities still proceeded even after Gen 5. Gen 6 Pokemon have hidden abilities, Protein Greninja, and so do Gen 7 mons. Like, I think Snowcloak is a level 9 till hidden ability. I don't remember. But, like, yeah, that's what I mean by in terms of a gimmick. like you can say the sets that are used by Speed Boost Blaziken are gimmicky because it requires Protect and all this. And yeah, we can say that, but the ability itself, or hidden abilities as a whole being gimmicky, I wouldn't say that. Because it's something that not only has proceeded and has become a main staple, but it also has affected every single Pokemon, and you can't really paint all these abilities with the same brush.
Yeah.
Like, Compound Eyes is different from Swift Swim or Speed Boost. And Magic Bounce is different from, let's say, I don't know, what's another hidden ability? Shell Armor. Like, they all just work very differently, and therefore you can't really paint them with the same brush.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But I do see what you mean, though.
Do you?
I mean, yeah, I can see what, like, you said that the hidden abilities were gimmicky, and I can see why you would think that, because quite a few of them do require a gimmicky moveset. Again, Swift Swim, any weather-based ability, Speed Boost, even though I don't think it's a gimmicky by itself.
It is.
No, by itself, no, but, like, the way that most trainers use it, especially in competitive, it is.
I think you just kind of automatically just realized what I was saying from the get-go.
No, like, I knew what you meant. Like, I said it earlier, like, I can see why you would think it's gimmicky, because most trainers in competitive, have a gimmicky setup for it, like Protect, or, Light Screen, Reflect, or, like, using, like, I guess Heal Pulse in, like, a double battle, in case you were, like, thinking that. But, like, Speed Boost by itself, because it's like automatic. It doesn't. It activates like in the beginning of, not in the beginning, but like after every turn. Like, it doesn't really require any setup for it. You can have it set up to make it work even better, but it's not like Sand Veil or Swift Swim or Ice Body where you need that setup. You get what I mean?
That's what I've been saying from the beginning, but that's fine. But point is,
like Speed Boost itself, like just a very Speed Boost itself, is a gimmick.
Nah, that's not exactly what I tried to say, though. But I mean, like, the whole Protect, yeah, Toxic Protect and shit like that. But it's like, you know, you already got the picture, though.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, Speed Boost itself would not work on its own. It just has to have a process. That's what I mean by it's a gimmick.
Yeah, okay, no, there we go.
Yeah, I kind of figured it would be kind of obvious, considering that Blaziken and Scolipede and a couple others have to use the exact same setups.
I feel that about wraps it up, really. Do you have anything else to say?
I don't know. You're gonna get, like... Huh?
And get closer to the number 1,000? The big, scary 4-digit number that Game Freak's been trying to...
God, that's even another thing that bothers me. It's like you already know that this is a franchise that was supposed to end at some points.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it was technically supposed to end at Gen 2.
Yeah, but, and if you ask me, I thought Gen 5 was a perfect conclusion.
Gen 3, they were like, we could make a story off of this.
Like, and the funny thing is, Gens 1 and 2 work perfectly on its own, on their, like, together. And then it's like, then the rest of them, like, surprisingly, Gens 3 and 5, Gens 3 to 5 were all pretty good on their own as well. And they didn't really need one another to really support it, but it's nice the fact that they're all connected to it. But it's like, I feel like it's getting to the point where it's like, yeah, you knew that you guys were supposed to be done prior. It's also why I feel like the design choices are a little bit awkward too. Like, a lot of the Pokemon from some of the newer generations are just not as good. And I say that very loosely because I'm not going to say that all of them are bad, but I like less of them than I would normally. But you can even tell the design choices the designs are very different. Like, there's a lot of care and passion to don't shoot me to the Gens 1 and 2 Pokemon than the other ones.
Yeah. I mean, you can
at least I mentioned Gen 2 because a good portion of them were designed from the get-go, so that's why it's kind of important to establish that.
I would argue that since Gen 1 and 2 Well, technically the Gen 2 Mons, not Gen 2 itself, but the Gen 2 Mons had the most time in the oven. They had the most development time.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like, and that's why they kind of cater to, and I feel like that's why they do cater to them the most. It's not only the one that revolutionized them or got them attention, but it's also just the one that they basically nearly killed themselves to make.
I don't really think so. I think that is definitely part of it.
I mean, to be fair, they were also the most successful Pokemon games to date. Still,
I feel like it's more so that they're just trying to get like that fan base that they lost. Like,
I mean, it doesn't. I don't blame you. I don't blame them. Gens 1 and 2 were the best Pokemon. Were the best sell. Were the best. They were the ones that did the best out of them all.
Yeah,
Gen 4 was like just below them.
Yeah.
But like Gens 3 and 5 did like the worst or something, I believe.
Yeah. I remember it was like Gen 3.
Because those were the two divisive ones.
Yeah. And now we're having another divisive one.
Yeah, I would honestly be laughing my ass off if Gen 8 does worse than Gens 3 and 5, especially considering how 5 was the one that everybody bashed on when it came out.
I don't know if it'll do worse. Then, which one sold worse, 3 or 5?
I think 5.
5?
I might be wrong. Actually, it may be 3 because not a lot of people had a Game Boy Advance.
The thing is, the fan base is bigger than back then.
Yeah, we need to, I think 3 did worse because 3 it was at a time when everybody was where the GBA was new and also the anime was not doing so well at the time. I think 3 did the worst. But I think 5 was like second worst. I think still to this day 5 is still second worst. Because that was the most because that one a lot of people were very divisive on that one.
Yeah.
And now a lot of people kind of appreciate it now, which is funny.
Yeah. I don't know. I am. Like, I feel like, on one hand, I feel like the sales will be comparable, for sure. But on one hand, I feel like it'll do better than Gens 3 and 5 because the fan base is technically bigger.
Like, would you see it being doing better than Gen 6 and 7?
Doing better? I don't... Maybe by a little bit. But
I would say it would. I'd say it'd probably do the worst of the 3, like, between Gen 6 and 7.
Being better, at least not by much. Like, maybe 100 more.
Because remember that this game is also like a fully priced game, so it's also like a good portion of the fan base probably won't be able to afford it.
Fully priced, but now it's like, it's not only that it's fully priced, but it's also that this has been the most divisive game ever.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot compare it to like the outrage of this cost compared to like Gen 3 or Gen 5. And you can argue because the fan base wasn't that big back then, but still, like
I mean, it was big enough to the point that Gens 1 and 2 still stand out the most, like, in terms of the sales at least. And Gen 4 also did really well.
That's the most I think they are the best selling ones.
Yeah, they were.
They are? Okay.
Gens 1 and 2 at least, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like...
Because I knew they were higher, but I wasn't sure if they were the best selling ones.
Yeah, they were the best selling ones, but it's like, I'm just surprised that, like, how the fan base is bigger yet. They kind of they didn't really sold more. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And I kind of find it funny how Gens 3 and 5 were the most divisive ones at the time, considering that now people look back on them like with more unending praise, especially Gens 3 and Gens 3 and 5 especially. I feel like some people are like catching up on the drop in quality that Gens 6 and 7 had. Like, I've seen some people that are catching up on it, but, like, other people are just more like, eh.
There are people who are noticing the drop in quality. You were definitely, like, among those people that noticed it at first, like, when Gen 6 was rolling around. I wasn't, but then, like, I really noticed it with, like, Gen 8, and I was like, something's off. But I wasn't quite sure what, and then I didn't really pick up on like the drop in quality until like Gen 8 was announced.
Really? You didn't notice X and Y's issues?
I mean, I noticed X and Y's issues, but I didn't think much of them. And then I saw, because I thought they were just like, okay, they're just making the game easier, like whatever. But then I noticed some things with Gen 7, like how Pokedexes for certain Pokemon were missing. Like Pokedex entries, I meant. And just how...
Yeah, how ironic that people are like apparently people are bitching supposedly about the national decks, yet we didn't have one in Sun and Moon. Problem is that we actually had all the Pokemon anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
like when people bring that up.
Yeah, it's like it's just
that means nothing because like we could still play as all the Pokemon. We're not complaining about the national dex itself. We're complaining about not having all these other Pokemon.
Like people really don't understand. People are just really misunderstanding most of the criticisms that go for this game.
Because they still want to buy the new games and they don't want to be. A lot of people just don't like. They can't fathom having a different opinion. Or at least their opinion.
Yeah, God forbid people have a different opinion.
Perceived as wrong, which is why some people will defend it. I'm not saying that's everyone, but I'm sure that that's a big chunk of these people that are complaining. Or they're just kids. They're just immature and they don't know.
The honesty, the sad thing is there is kind of a wrong take. So like how lately, well, not really lately, there is just a difference between a subjective opinion versus an objective point of view. It's like when people everybody that literally points out the national dex thing are the people that basically judge it from an objective standpoint. Like these are issues that are literally that nobody can write off because they are legit issues within the game. Like if one chooses to ignore it or just say that it doesn't bother them, then that's literally a subjective viewpoint. But like I'm starting to more focus on judging things objectively, like as it is and how it stands out, really, and literally remove my own personal opinions on it because my own personal opinions don't really impact my enjoyment of these games anymore. So it's like now I just kind of look at it from the critical eye and I just see these for what it is.
I get what you mean because it's like you and I both know that we'll always love the series, but I still have
the love that I have of the franchise since Gens 1 through 5. Like that's one of the reasons why I still do stick around to it.
Yeah, but now it's like maybe because we're older. I don't know. Maybe we're just starting to notice it more.
I don't know because even then the fact that I was still able to continue playing Pokemon as a teenager, I still feel like it's is actually pretty interesting accomplishment. Because it's one of those franchises where you feel like you would have outgrown it by the age of by middle school or some point.
Okay, but Marco, teenage us is very different from now us, current day us.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, but teenagers are the point where it's oh, you gotta play the new shit, Call of Duty and stuff like that. I don't know, I'm just saying, with the mindset that normal teenagers would go through, you would think that some people would kind of abandon a franchise like Pokemon at that point, or just learn to really appreciate it when they're older. I know I would have definitely still loved the franchise if I was my same age and Gen 4 was the new thing.
Yeah.
This is assuming I did get into the franchise at an earlier age, but I'm sure I would have still loved the franchise at my day and age, if Gen 4 was the new thing.
But, no, I'm not talking about how we don't like it because we're older. I'm talking about how we're starting to notice. We're starting to be more objective with our opinions because we're older.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of things that there's a lot of franchises and series that I used to like back then, but then when you really look at it from an actual objective point of view, it's okay, it's actually kind of crap. And you can even still like shit. You can even still things that are kind of considered bad as long as just one's kind of self-aware. It's if you're gonna admit that you like the Star Wars prequels, for instance, at least just acknowledge that they're bad. But it's instead of saying that they're actually good, even though they're very contradictory. And it even applies to the new movies. It even applies to a lot of fiction. I remember I would give Legend of Korra a pass, but I can easily say it's not
objectively bad because you would be talking about it in terms of production value, not in terms of opinion.
Wait, which ones?
When you're talking about something being objectively bad,
that's more of the story, really.
Yeah, I would say more from a production standpoint, not so much of an opinion because opinions are different. Like, there's not meant to be right or wrong, but I could see.
Yeah, but I mean, like when you have to judge a movie and there's a movie and like something has a plot hole or something, like that's just just kind of impossible to say. Yeah, no, that you have to really go out of your way to try and justify a plot hole and stuff like that. I mean,
I'm also talking like opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you can't have a subjective opinion, but you can have you
can like say that something is like objectively like not well made.
Yeah, I mean, like you just need to like understand the difference between subjectivity and objectivity.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to clarify.
Yeah, no, like, and even then like when I tell you about the Star Wars prequel, it's not really the production value. I'm just saying like the overall story and how it's like kind of contradictory.
No, that's what I meant, like by production.
Like, I can't really say anything about it. Well, I can say like if the movie I can say the movie looks butt ugly from my perspective, but I can't say it's objectively because some people can find Jar Jar Binks pretty. It's stuff like that, kind of like humor. So, like, that's the part where it's subjective, especially humor.
Yeah.
But like I just think like with Pokemon, it's just kind of a difficult thing for like I know a lot of people don't really criticize Pokemon objectively because a lot of people kind of point it from based on how much it impacts their lives or how it kind of changes things. So it's
emotional standpoint.
Yeah, it's unironically it's kind of like it's unironically how people feel with Star Wars. Like I think a lot of people kind of like give some movies a pass more than others based on their personal enjoyments. Like there are people that still enjoy The Force Awakens despite many people, including myself, to be kind of soured down on that one. But it's like, people still remember that emotional and hype moment that it came with it, and then people still have it higher ranked than other Star Wars films. It's kind of like Pokemon. Like, people remember when Gen 3 was probably their first game, and that's why they love it. And I know more people that actually say that Black and White was their first Pokemon game, and they love that game.
Yeah.
I mean, my first game was Yellow version, but it's definitely not my favorites.
Yeah, like for some people, they're obviously like gonna like develop other favorites. But for a lot of people, it's like what they started with that they feel most comfortable with.
Yeah.
Again, like for me, like I don't like giving objective opinions about Gen 4 because I have a bias towards it. Like I really love Gen 4.
I mean, I can really give it, like, it's not really much of a difficult one.
I mean, yeah, you can, but I would, and I can too, but, like, I would prefer not to because, like, again, I'm very biased towards it.
Yeah, but you can still be biased and still give an objective criticism.
I mean, yeah, but I prefer not to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can, but I prefer not to because I just love it. I'm icky.
I mean, like, what's the reason for it?
Like, I don't know, Gen 4 just, like, really got me into the fandom and just got me into the games overall and it really helped me make friends and stuff. So, like, I can, of course, like, give an objective opinion about Gen 4.
You just don't really want to.
I don't want to, yeah.
I mean, don't worry, you don't really have to. I mean, it's
I know, that's what I mean.
I mean, it's just kind of... The thing is, the reason why I say that is because, like, in reality...
saying anything objective about Gen 4.
I mean, we get, like, the reason why I would say that is because, like, it's just, like, even you don't literally need to be biased about it to clearly see that it was the best one. Like, because, like, again, like, the other ones don't really have much of an impact, the ones before especially. Like, I guess, yeah, Gen 3 had the abilities, but it's, like, the fact that it didn't really hit the landmark of competitive battling. And not only that, but, like, the specials and physicals, like, the way they were implemented with the types, it was awful.
Yeah.
Like, it really didn't hold up. And a lot of people can't... Like, I know people, like, really can't go back to those games because of those things. And, Gen 4 changed that part. And, like, something like that small differences really made a big one. Like, that small change made a big difference. And I guess so does hidden abilities, but I feel like I'd have more of an appreciation towards the physical special split, considering that was actually, like, a small change made into a big thing. It's like hidden abilities is
really needed anyway, because there were a lot of Pokemon that were designed to be like a special attacker, but their type was a physical type.
Not only that, but like hidden abilities to me, it's just like hidden abilities is just giving another Pokemon another ability, and it's just rare. And I guess it's more, and some of them are better than others, but in reality, como gets like, speed boost is not really necessarily a new ability. but it's like it's just
Yeah,
now
I mean,
a new ability for Blaziken.
It's not like Gigantamaxing where they say that every Pokemon can use it, but then you have certain other ones that do change drastically.
Yeah, like hidden abilities did change did change how most Pokemon perform, but I think it's more like just how the ability is in general, rather than just the fact that it's hidden abilities. Period.
Yeah.
But it's like.
And that was it to everyone. They're not going to give every single Pokemon a Gigantamax form. They gave them all Dynamax, but not Gigantamax, which is a big difference here.
Yeah.
And the same can be applied for Mega Evolution, although not the exact same.
Not really. Like I wouldn't say because like everybody can still Gigantamax, but they just can't. Like,
no, everyone can Dynamax, but they just can't Gigantamax.
Yeah, whatever.
Mega Evolution was kind of like that, where it was set to be for balancing purposes. It did bring a lot of like lower tier Pokemon up in the rankings. Like
that's like the one thing I will give Mega Evolution some credit. Like it actually did bring a lot of Pokemon into viability, including like Beedrill, for instance. Like
like Beedrill, Blastoise.
And I know that Gigantamaxing is going to bring
Charizard. I know for sure. Charizard benefited the most from Mega.
I know Gigantamaxing is going to make Butterfree viable, but like there's just something about the Gigantamaxing that's just really. I mean, there's many things.
But like so far, the Pokemon that can Gigantamax are like already good. Competitively, like Charizard's
already not Butterfree.
Pikachu's probably good in like not fully evolved tiers or whatever.
I really don't know about that one.
Eevee is good in Little Cup. Eevee's really good in Little Cup. Meowth, I don't know, maybe. But like so far, like the others we can't really say.
I mean, except Butterfree to an extent. Like Butterfree's like the one where I feel like it was
pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have much else to add. Anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, there's just one thing that I feel like I would like to bring up. Like, do you think that Game Freak... I mean, there's no way that after Sword and Shield, that Game Freak is going to continue with the way they handled this game. I already predict that the Gen 4 remakes are going to be the next games. And...
to be honest, I think they will.
Yeah, because, like, come on, they just divided the fan base, and a lot of people have been asking for Gen 4 remakes for a long time. Since after ORAS, which is kind of ridiculous, admittedly, but it's like, they've been asking for that for a while. And I feel like that's the best way they can bring back the fan base. It would be so foolish if they still choose not to program all the Pokemon in that game. I feel like I would probably still get the Gen 4 remakes, but I don't know. Like, I really don't want it to get the same treatment that Sword and Shield got. But I know it's not going to be Breath of the Wild quality. So it's like, my expectations for Gen 4 remakes are just unfortunately as low as how I feel with Sword and Shield.
Yeah, I just feel like, even though this is a simple in quotation marks, because obviously programming is difficult, but like, this is literally just a simple situation where you just have to port the models. And we know it's the same model because they use it and let's go.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be stupid and remake all of their future-proof models just for this game.
Not only that, but they also have to... doing that would require a little something called effort, which Game Freak has been proven to lack right now.
Not so much effort, it's just that they're just cutting corners.
Yeah.
Like, that's what this whole thing has been about. They've been trying to cut corners since Gen 6.
I would say it really started around ORAS, because ORAS... Wait, when did Pokemon Go come out? Go came out in 2016. ORAS came out in 2015. Yeah, it was... I think with ORAS, that was like the one game where you start questioning... or at least I started questioning... like the why of many things. With X and Y, it was like, okay, as long as we get like a Z version, then everything will be fixed. And we never got that third version.
Yeah.
And it's like, I felt like that was...
And the only one we're going to find out is like 30, 40 years from now when they remake Pokemon X and Y.
Yeah. But, yeah, then this game, man.
This fucking game.
I really don't know. I really don't know how I'm gonna at least, like, I don't think... I've pretty much been outspoken. I don't really see myself continuing with the franchise, like, with the direction it's going to. Some part of me kind of wants to more revisit, like, the older generations, like Gen 4 OU, and play that instead. But it's like... The fact that I'm just not really looking forward to like anything Pokemon related from here on out, it just kind of depresses me.
I get that.
But
I feel the same way.
But what about you? Like you're gonna play some Gen 8? I know you're not gonna get the game, or at least I think from what you told me, you're not gonna get the game.
I think I might get it. I don't know. Definitely not yet. I want to pay for college first. Like that's my priority.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pay for a full price game that I know I'm not gonna love.
Yeah.
Like I might end up loving it. I might end up thinking it's the best generation ever. Obviously not, but like it's a maybe. It's a big maybe.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too.
Like you would have to say, you would have to be so easy to please if you had that opinion.
Yeah. But like I don't know. I might buy it, but if I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna buy it like later. I want to pay for college first. I'm not gonna pay $60 for a game that I know I'm not gonna love.
Yeah.
Again, big maybe that it might be like a big maybe on like it would be my favorite generation or whatever. Again, big.
I mean, I don't even think it's gonna be your favorite because you just pretty much established that Gen 4 is pretty much But like, I think the most that'll happen is that you'll say it's a good game. Which again, like from a technical standpoint, I don't.
It's a good game, but for now, like I'm not looking forward to it. And if I'm not looking forward to it, why should I want to pay full price?
Yeah, and that's another thing. I was gonna say for a second that from a technical standpoint, it's pretty much a good. It's automatically gonna be it works.
Yeah, technically speaking, it's gonna be good, but like.
But then I just remembered that a lot of people have been saying that there's a lot of frame drops and slowdowns. So it's like not even from a technical.
That was with the 3DS, and that was because like.
No, I meant Sword and Shield.
Oh, it's Sword and Shield.
Yeah. Like that game has some weird, like that game has pop-ins.
From demos.
Like that game has pop-ins, sort of frame rate drops, slowdowns, all that, and it's like.
And the render distance in the wild area is crap.
Yeah, so it's like, God, this is a Nintendo Switch Pokemon game. Like, this is what we wanted. No. Like, why is that fan stuff is just better than what the actual creators are doing? It's like the fans have more passion than the people behind Game Freak themselves. It's like. Christ.
Honestly, if you said this like 7 months ago, I would have disagreed with you. But yeah, you're right.
You would have been wrong 7 months ago.
Yeah, I know I would have.
Yeah, you and your. I'm trying to look at the positive sides.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, nah, I would have still stand by my point. In fact. I really wish I could have told you that in, like 7 months ago, so that we could have been today, and I could have laughed at your face and go, "I told you so! I told you so!"
Lol.
Like you can tell when there's like so much love put into a game or to a movie.
Smash Bros.
Yeah, I would actually say so. It's even that, and even then, like Smash 4, I say was like the one game I felt like there was like a lot of weird attention to, but Ultimate at least has a lot of care into it. Even though I have some criticism with Ultimate, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't have any love and care for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so far the DLC characters have been pretty good. Shocking to me, to say the least. Way better than the ones in Smash 4.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I'm dead. I'm really tired.
I'm
I have
dead
to go
in the
to work
inside.
tomorrow to see my new schedule because I accidentally took a picture of the old one. Because guess what? My boss gave me more hours. Yay!
I mean, more hours means more money, right?
I mean, that is true.
So, just gotta have that mentality.
Yeah.
I've recorded this entire conversation and it's actually been
I know you have. That's why I'm not saying anything else about my job.
Yeah, okay, just as an FYI, but I was mostly just referring to like the fact that it's like, wow, this part of the video is actually way more interesting than like our gameplay.
Well, maybe separated from our gameplay.
I'm definitely gonna do that, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's like this is like a mini SlutCast.
Just be like random post-game discussion of like two schmucks.
Yeah, it's like this could be like a mini SlutCast basically, which is funny because like fun fact. Yeah, which is funny because I remember we did like a Sword and Shield one a long time ago, but I was so under the weather and not really looking forward to even talking about it because my passion for Pokemon is no.
What are you doing?
Huh?
When you were doing that, when you were just like so out of it that time, I was like, Marker, what are you doing?
It's like I just have no passion with these new games. Like from Gen, like I'll say this, I think the passion was still around in Gen 6, despite it being my least favorite generation. But like Gen 7 and 8, it's like I don't want to talk about Gen 7 and 8. I want to talk about Gens 1 through 5 and maybe Gen 6. And even Gen 6 was just really because of the Megas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know I'm very contradictory. Some point and some like I hate the Megas design, but I like what the Megas have actually done for the meta.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I know what I'm talking
I get
about.
that.
I know what I'm talking about. Shut up.
I know. No. I'm not like blaming you. I get what you're saying. Like, you don't like the Megas, but there are aspects of it that you do like.
Yeah.
Like a love-hate relationship. I get that.
That one I would definitely say was a love-hate relationship. But
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Because I remember you bouncing back and forth for a bit when it came to your opinion on the Megas.
it still goes back and forth.
Yeah,
Maybe
I know.
not the designs of most of the Pokemon, but just more like the aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of there's a lot of potential with it, but it's just the fact that it really did. I don't even know if it really met its potential or not, like, or if it was a wasted potential because the anime
I feel
at
like
least
it
made
could
it
have if they
look
continued it, but
flashy.
they never did.
Huh?
I feel like it could have if they continued with it, but they never did.
Yeah, that I can agree. Even Sun and Moon, sort of the anime at least, like even could have even like utilized it a little bit, but it didn't. It wasn't the main focus. And yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. I just feel like I just wish that they did more with the. Oh my goodness!
I just wish there was more love into Pokemon than like when it was back then.
Yeah.
Like
But
shit was good back then. Like it's not even like a bias thing anymore. It's just like it's like legit good. Like
yeah.
Pokemon has so much potential.
Right now.
Pokemon has so much potential right now, but it's like it just kind of limits it because it's like it knows its target audiences, but at the same time it doesn't. It's not aware of the fact that there are a lot of grown ass adults that are still playing it.
Yeah, I feel like it's with Pokemon recently. The best way to describe it is like one step forward, two steps back.
Yeah, definitely. Like so far, the best Pokemon game I recommend people to start playing is Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Like it's the best and most accessible one.
That is.
And it's also probably the best Pokemon game
I was
made.
gonna say that's the best Pokemon game.
Yeah. That one I can probably say from an objective standpoint as well.
Yeah, you can objectively say that it's one of the best Pokemon games because it's really well made. It's balanced, the metagame at least.
Lucario's finally gonna be an OU. Nice.
Yeah, Lucario's an OU.
Yeah, because Lucario's underused in this one. I think in the last one he was
amazing.
underused.
It's like there's so much post-game content. There's main story content.
It had probably the most content out of any Pokemon game. Yeah, it's just great. It's a great game.
It's good. It's really
I still play that game because that game was like a legit one. And there's so much love in that one, especially and unironically, it's a remake of the second generation, and it added more to it. Like I still have my mystery gift event Celebi just so I can see the Silver and Giovanni scene. I still have the mystery gift Arceus events, just so I can get my level 1 Dialga, Palkia, Giratina. It's stuff like that. I still keep like a lot of the things. I still have a Groudon and Kyogre from other save files just so I can get Rayquaza for each playthrough.
Yeah.
It's just a fantastic game overall. It's like definitely recommend anybody to play it.
And they actually introduced the other legendaries, like they were well implemented.
Yeah, because like it starts off with Gens 1 and 2 Pokemon, and then they start implementing Gens 3 and 4 Pokemon later. What would you say is your top 5?
They had the embedded tower for the Gen 3 legendaries. Yeah. And then for Oras, it was just like portals.
Fuck Oras. Anyway, what would be your top 5? Like, I mean, do you have a top 10 favorite Pokemon games, or can you name like a top 5?
For games, I would say Heart Gold and Soul Silver is number 1. From 1 to 5, I would say Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Platinum, Black 2 and White 2, Black and White, and what else? I want to say, I don't know. I kind of want to say.
There's like some part of me that's like thinking you want to say X and Y.
Huh?
There's like some part of me that's thinking, I think this boy really wants to say X and Y, but he doesn't want to.
Part of me does, but part of me doesn't.
Yeah, I can see it in you. Because it's like,
Yeah,
you haven't played the Gen 7 games.
Because although, opinion-wise, I like aspects of Gen 6, but I just hate the games itself.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
love
I get that. I get that. Like, I think we played Gen 6 overused, and I think I had a much better... It's funny, because I think I had a much better time with Gen 6 overused than I did with Gen 7 overused, and in X and like, most Gen 6 games.
Yeah, what about you?
Number 5 would be Stadium 2, the one on the N64. That game was very good.
Oh, we're counting those games. Okay.
Yeah, you can count
Then I would
spin-offs
say
as
number
well.
5 would have to be, number 5 would be, no, number 3 would be Explorers of Sky. Mystery and Explorers of Sky.
Okay.
And then 4 would
Black and White 2, really?
Yeah, I really loved those games.
Okay. So is 3 is Mystery Dungeon 2, and then Black 2 and White 2 is 4, and then Black and White is 5 then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, it's like Stadium 2 is number 5, then it's Platinum as number 4, 3 would be Black 2 and White 2, second is Emerald. Emerald is so good. And then Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Emerald was really close to being my favorite, but Heart Gold and Soul Silver had like the best content of any Pokemon game. But Emerald was so close to it. There's like a lot of things that I really liked about Emerald. Like, it's just so good.
Yeah.
How ironic, 2 and 3 were Gens 3 and 5 games. It's like they were never bad from the beginning.
It was a Gen 5 game.
And yeah, I remember I was so, like, I was really pondering if I really wanted to get Black 2 and White 2, and I think, oh my god, that was actually the best, that was actually one of my best birthdays, actually.
What, when I got you White, what was it?
You got me White 2.
I got you.
You got me White 2, and then I remember that same day Gavin bought me Borderlands 2, and it's like, god damn it. That was actually one of my favorite ones, and yeah, I remembered I played White 2 because I remembered really being surprised after so much backlash of Gen 5 how much I actually enjoyed Black and White. And then I popped right into Black 2 and White 2, and I just liked that game way more. Like, there's so many things about it. It's like, I just wanted to get to the world tournaments, and like, that was, actually, I remember I was super addicted. Maybe this is just me. And this is part of the reason why I feel like there's so much love in the older games than in the new, because you don't get shit like this. I feel like I'm the only person that actually loves the movies in Gen 5, in Black 2 and White 2.
You like the Gen 5 movies?
Like not the movies, like the actual movies. I mean the fact that you can make a movie in Black 2 and White 2.
Oh! I thought that was lit as fuck.
I was super addicted. I did all of the movies, and it's just, this is like, because I was well, I mean, I'm still passionate about films, but it's like, especially in my younger youth, where my passion to films was like so high, like I knew that when I saw that, I was super addicted. I got to see all the alternate endings, and I got to kill like my giant wife with my Hydreigon. I basically murdered my wife.
Jesus Christ.
I subverted the audience's expectations before The Last Jedi was even a thing. Or Game of Thrones Season 8, whichever one's your poison.
Game of Thrones Season 8.
Yeah. But, yeah, I remember. Like, it's like, you see, that probably proves my point even further. You don't even get fun little content like that.
Yeah, I agree. You don't get, like, really fun stuff anymore like that. You just kind of get, like, oh, look, you can battle these people.
And even Stadium 2 had also some really fun little, like, mini games to play with a bunch of Pokemon. One of them you'll actually love. It's like a Donphan rollout game.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so it's like, even Stadium 2 had a lot of little fun mini games, and that was only N64. XD Gale of Darkness and Coliseum had a lot of like battle simulators and tournaments that you can go through. Like maybe that game could have potentially have really started something with like the competitive environments, and then there's Battle Revolution, which I know is just battling simulator, but it's still so interesting to have like your team in Gen 4 onto the big screen. Like it was so it
Gen
was
5.
yeah, it was so good for me when I was a kid. It was like the game I've played the most on my Wii.
Oh, you meant okay. No, I thought you meant but big screen. I thought you meant like as in movies, like with Gen 5. I was like,
No,
oh,
like
Gen
Battle
5.
Revolution basically.
Okay, no, yeah, I know what you mean now.
I mean, there's also like some neat little ones. Like my Pokemon Ranch is an interesting one, and Pokemon Home I don't think was a bad idea. It's just it lacks a lot of the things that my Pokemon Ranch did better.
Yeah, I get that.
Like you can get a Mew in my Pokemon Ranch by simply putting 100 Pokemon in there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like people say that you can never complete the National Pokédex, but it was so possible in Gen 4. Now not today's standards it's a little bit different, but
No, by today's standards, it's literally impossible.
yeah, but like then it was totally possible. Like especially like when Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, you can actually get Ho and Lugia. Like legitimately.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like they would always try like in Gen 6 and I'm not sure about Gen 7, but in Gen 6 you can get all the Pokemon.
Yeah.
In Gen 7 without transferring, I don't know.
I don't know because remember that there's no national deck, so I guess it's possible to finish the base decks, but I don't know.
Yeah, you can finish the base decks, of course, but you can't finish the without like transferring from a previous generation. You can't get all the Pokemon.
Yeah, but I don't think Sun and Moon really requires that thing. Like,
no, I know, but like every game has had that.
Yeah. Like I really don't know the mad
every generation has had that.
Like I really don't want to know the mad people that actually did that in Gen 5.
Yeah.
Congrats if you did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, yeah.
Gen 5, could you? I don't know, because I don't think you
Gen 5 I'm sure was possible because one of the rewards that they give you was like a medal.
Other games in Gen 5?
You could actually beat the game in 100%, but the thing is it's literally impossible now since one of them requires Wi-Fi connection and the DS Wi-Fi went.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Rest in peace, DS
yeah,
Wi-Fi.
Gen 5 is kind of an iffy one there, but
yeah, I can literally tell you that DS Wi-Fi and Wii Wi-Fi really consumed my life when I was a kid.
The what?
The DS Wi-Fi connectivity and the Wii Wi-Fi, that combined like consumed my childhood.
Yeah.
I played Pokemon religiously when I was a kid, and you can attest to that because you were there since the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I can attest to that.
Yeah. So it's like. It's moments like that. See, it's moments like that, memories like that I just remembered having such a good time with Pokemon. Or it's like I really want to come back to this game, but I literally can't enjoy Gen 7 to the same extent as I did with Gen 4 and 5. And yes,
yeah.
and this is Gen 5, yes, with the Weather Wars, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pokemon's changed. And I guess people are happy about it, so I don't need to drag down with my old ass. I've just been there since the beginning. I mean, literally, Pokemon and I share the same age.
Yep.
Little known fact of the day. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I don't really have much to really add with Pokemon, other than just like I might just read the mangas. Really, I might read the mangas to at least get something out of it.
Yeah, I'm just dead as heck.
Yeah, that's what Pokemon does to you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we can end the recording.
Yeah, I like this conversation. This was a nice conversation.
Yeah, it's definitely it was definitely not expected at all. It was all improvisation.
This was literally not planned at all. This was just like we just started chatting for a bit after the battles, and then it just kind of led to a discussion that led to another discussion, and yeah.
Yeah. We just basically talked about like why Pokemon is so great, but why it's kind of like disappointing now. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, like I'm just gonna go through the mangas and see, like, and I can get a kick out of it. And I'll probably like give you my thoughts on that. Yeah.
I haven't read the. You would like the Gen 4 one because one of the main protagonists does a lot of puns.
Of course, because everything Gen 4 related is automatically good. Like the spin-offs are great.
He's a theater kid.
Huh?
The Diamond, aka Lucas's manga counterpart. He is a theater kid. He's a stand-up comedian and loves puns, and he loves eating.
Well, he's already my favorite character. I'm just saying, it's just a big coincidence that a lot of things Gen 4 related is just great. Like, the games are great, the anime was great, the spin-off games are great, and now the manga is great.
Don's counterpart in the manga is very different from the anime. Not in a bad way.
Who?
Like, it's still Don's counterpart. Her counterpart in the manga is named Platinum.
Yeah. But how different is she?
Very different from Dawn.
Is she more serious?
She's more serious. She is a little bit more prissy, but at the same time, she does go through her own character development. I haven't finished reading the manga, but she does go through her own character development, and she does stand her ground as her own trainer, and she feels like her own character. Well, she's like, I'm the prissy character. No, she has more personality to that.
Unironically, I heard that the most divisive one is unironically Gen 3.
I haven't read that one yet, and I kind of want to, but I don't want to at the same time. Because thing is, I know that's like when the story arc for the Gen 1 cast kind of ends, like that's just when their story is done. And they don't go through any more personal arcs. So it saddens me a little bit to read it. To start reading it, because I don't want to end my adventures with red, blue, green, and yellow.
Also, they ended Gen 3.
What do you mean they ended Gen 3?
Like, they ended like, they finished their arcs in that side of the manga?
Well, no, because, like, they appear in the ORAS chapters.
Everything's connected.
Chapters with the remakes. That's why I said Gen 3 was the end for the Gen 1 cast.
Okay.
Because Fire Red and Leaf Green were a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's based on the games. Like, you'll have the first chapters are based on red and green, then blue, and then yellow, and then gold, silver, crystal, ruby and sapphire, Fire Red and Leaf Green, emerald.
Would you recommend going in order? Or
yes, 100% go in order.
Okay.
Especially from Gens 1 to 3.
Okay, so, alright then. I guess that decides it all.
Yeah. So far, my favorite one has been the Yellow chapter, which is centered around an original character from the manga named Yellow.
Alright. Well, I'm definitely gonna try it out now.
Yeah. Also, Lance is a bad guy.
Yeah, that one I knew.
Okay.
Alright.
And he can talk to Pokemon.
I mean, I'm not surprised. Alright then. Well, it's been fun.
It has been.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you all for watching this showdown, the final Gen 7 session, and this mini SlutCast, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I can't promise you. I refuse to promise more Pokemon content, but if there are any, well, you'll enjoy it, I guess. Hopefully.
You'll know. You guys will know.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Later, sluts.